sugar. Oh, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Honey, oh, sugar, sugar, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. I just can't believe the loveliness of loving you. I just can't believe it's true. I just can't believe the wonder of this feeling too. I just can't believe it's true. Ah, sugar. Oh, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Oh, honey, oh, sugar, sugar, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. When I kissed you, girl, I knew how sweet a kiss could be. I know how sweet a kiss can be. Like the summer sunshine, pour your sweetness over me. Pour your sweetness over me. Oh, sugar, sugar on it, honey. Pour little sugar on it, baby.
Make life so sweet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pour little sugar on it. Oh, yeah. Pour little sugar on it, honey. Pour little sugar on it, baby.
I'm gonna make life so sweet.
Yeah, pour little sugar on it, honey. Ah, sugar. Honey, honey. You are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Oh, honey, sugar, sugar, honey, sugar, you are my candy girl.
End of line.
Why, hello, peasantry and worker underclass. It's the addendum to 6090, which is 6090.1 or .2, however you want to look at it. So,
Citizens, you know who I am, the chairman of the United Corporations of America. I love you.
when you look at the bill 6090, what it's stating is fairly clear. I've already went through it, which is nothing more than you set aside United States citizen. You set all of that stuff aside. One way of setting it aside is stating it is, quote, Jewish, unquote, corporation. Okay? That was my point of the other last video, was to also point that out, which may have gotten lost in the hullabaloo of saying that now United States Jewish Americans, United States Jewish citizens, there's this whole other thing, a whole other corporation set to the side. And it's not Zionism, which is not a citizen class, but it is a private corporation. Specific corporations using, quote, Zionism, unquote, somehow in them as an association, in order to incorporate as a corporation to the United States in the District of Columbia, Delaware, all that stuff. Okay? Okay. So, what you're looking at in the bill is them stating, quote, Jewish, unquote, is a corporation. And we created the general corporation. All right? And it is not chartering it. What it is stating is like the Louisiana Purchase, which is, in general, there is a corporation that exists called Jewish. Okay? All right, it is territory that is open, and we are waiting for private corporations to come in and state Jewish Incorporated. Okay? All right, so I get that some people may not understand this one with the bill 6090. Okay? But secondarily, it's stating that outside of the bill, the legal definitions must be primarily starting with Jewish Incorporated, Israel Incorporated, or the same thing, or are linked together as a corporation incorporating a corporation. Okay? We covered this a while back. I've covered it for 15 fucking years. That is what that is stating. Okay? That's it. That's all it's stating. Now, one level down is Jewish United States Jewish citizen is automatically a part of Israel and is a religious race. Okay? That is true. That is what that says, but it also is stating, and this is something they can state that will work. But it's so vague in the bill, I don't see how it would work. It is so heavily implied that it's like it's not specific enough. It's too general. But the United States creates a general corporation, a generalized corporation, territory, okay, Jewish Incorporated. That is why it's very specific on national origin, race, in the civil rights deal that it kept talking about. All right, national origin, race, and what they're stating is Jewish Incorporated is a United States corporation. It's a sub-franchise, but it is Israel Incorporated as an incorporator. Okay? So both of these companies are together, and both of those are underneath the United States. Okay? That is literally what that's saying. I dare you to disprove that, because that is literally what it's saying. Now, that being said, that is extremely ingenious because you have to go way the fuck back, but the Massachusetts Trust is one of the ways of doing that. Okay? Which was ZOA, and the others, which was a basis of the East India Corporation. One of, though not the same. Okay? So it would be like the Karen Haysad. Here, I take money, I give it to you, I am now a member of that corporation. That corporation then goes by as land, rents, rents or leases, it doesn't matter what the point was. It's a United States sub-franchise corporation. It cannot exist outside of that. First, New York State. Second, United States. Okay? This is doing something a little bit different, which is stating first, United States, then Jewish Incorporated, which didn't exist prior to this. That's what I'm saying. It is a way of saying, how else would you say it? I'm trying to think. You would say Pet Rock Incorporated, right? Congress says, here is a new territory of ours, a corporate territory, and it is called Pet Rock. Okay? All right, so if you consider yourself a pet rock, somehow you float under there, right? Right. That was one of the old deals of prescription. If you let it go long enough and nobody says nothing, well, it must be true. It must be legal and it must be true. Right? Right. Okay, so that's the same as stating State of Oklahoma, United States Corporation, all cities and towns in the state of Oklahoma, which they're not if they're not incorporated. But by prescription, over a long enough amount of time, they automatically become city corporations or town corporations, incorporated into the state of Oklahoma. Okay? So this is doing the same thing, but with, quote, Jewish incorporated, unquote. See? Okay, so it's ingenious in the old ways that they do that stuff, or bring around the older stuff, right? Because they're sitting there looking at the laws and like, how did we do this colony? How did we do that colony? I just put up this. I'm going to put it up again in this one. I just put it in the last video. I just put it in a couple of videos ago, very specifically stating in Delaware, right? District of Columbia and all this stuff. Oh, yeah, by the way, we still have colonies. The United States has company colonies. If the United States is a corporation, then it has sub-franchise company colonies. Now, I'm not confused by this. How the fuck do you think this is, quote, Jewish, unquote? That is not what it's saying. It's saying, quote, Jewish, unquote, is incorporated into our territory, into our corporation that we have said exists. Possibly exists until a private corporation comes in and says, we are Jewish Incorporated. Now, who just did that, I don't know, 50, 60, 70, 100 years ago? Israel Incorporated. So, you're seeing incorporation of incorporation, which is, you can get mad all day long at AIPAC. My point was, that's ingenious. That's all that is saying. It has nothing to do with your freedom of speech whatsoever. None. Zero. It has not. All that is saying is Jewish Incorporated, right? Israel Incorporated, and they are linked corporations. And the United States is incorporating both together because they can do that. That is true. Congress can absolutely do that. There's still the argument of whether Congress can. I don't care what nobody says. There's still the fucking argument that Congress cannot create a corporation. Congress, or specific corporation. Congress can create a general, well, that's also an argument, but a general corporation. It cannot create Israel in Palestine. Okay? That's not constitutional. It can state that there is an Israel in District of Columbia on the books. Again, the Australian thing with the dog catcher laws, right? With King George III stating, okay, we don't own Australia. That's not our territory. In fact, we create Australia Incorporated on our books, and we put convicts in there under the convict laws. So it is a prison corporation on the books in England with our convicts, and we're just storing them in Australia, both on the books and on the continent. Okay? Now, I covered that. That, again, evidently, I don't know why they think King George III was a mad bastard. Maybe he was a mad lad. I don't really know. That shit's genius, because there were arguments over that. How the fuck can you do that? There's no charter. Well, you don't have to charter. You don't have to charter, because it's not in Australia. You're just stopping on the way to England, from England, at Australia. That's all you're doing. Later comes along private corporations, Van Diemen and the others. Okay? Well, you're doing the same thing here. The same exact fucking thing here. So, there are some smart motherfuckers that went through this and said, you know what? We can do. And it's like, yes, you can do that. I've got a question. The word Jewish, is that a legal term? No. Is that a legal corporation? Now it is, or it could be. So I have pointed this out for years, okay? Years. This is not the first time they did it. This is the most interesting time that you get to see them do that. Okay? My great grandpa, my great great grandpa, was around long before the Louisiana Purchase, the territory of Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, and now whatever the fuck it is now. I don't know what. Oklahoma Incorporated, whatever. You get the point. All right? All that's happening is nothing real. It's just terms rolling over. Corporations rolling over, being bought out, voided, trading hands, and that's exactly what you see inside that bill. Nothing to do with freedom of speech whatsoever. So, hats off to whoever decided to do that shit. Because it's like, when you see it, you go, huh, I'll be damned. That is super interesting because you have to... Rome tried versions of that. Not quite this complicated, right? Not this bamboozlement, right? Australia was literally created this way, okay? The corporation, not the continent, obviously, because Britain did not create the continent of Australia. This is exactly how, and I need to do it for Gaz when I get a chance, sit down and run through all of Rhodesia, okay? Because I guarantee you, what is it going to say? This same exact thing. Okay? With the exception, in this weird way, they're trying to connect these two things, these two companies together, and you're sitting there saying, well, wait a minute, you can't quite do that because the other company is sovereign. Now, whether they agree to it or not is irrelevant. We have to agree to that. And this is not exactly a trade thing that we really want, because it is not working out. Right? So, if you was wanting a one-state solution, this is one way of... It's a convoluted way, but you could do it. You could do it. You set up Jewish Incorporated, right? You set it up as your private corporation. Or somebody comes in later. But what they're effectively stating is Israel runs Jewish Incorporated. So, therefore, if you are, quote, Jewish, unquote, then it automatically means Israel Incorporated. You're on their books, all right? You're on their books as citizens, okay? So, or for special circumstance, whatever they're going to use it for. Who the fuck knows to get loans? You know what I mean? Oh, no, I've got twice the citizens you thought I did. Look at my books. And you're like, what? Well, technically, that is legal. That is legal. It'd be the same as Gaz saying, okay, Slappy is now a citizen of Rhodesia. And you're like, what the fuck? I can't do that. Well, here, let me show you how we can get around that, and you can do that. And you're like, well, you know, I could start a tax sheltering corporation and then just claim that corporation that I own and run is a citizen of Rhodesia. And Gaz says, okay, Rhodesia Incorporated is now a trade corporation underneath Britain. Right? The Queen, or I'm sorry, King Charles. And so, you know, we've got special charter dispensation by the Crown for hunting and fishing. Except we fish people. Right? We fish people. And now you are a part of, on my books, as a subscriber. All right? So now we can prove that I've got double the population. Now it's me and Gaz. Right? So, okay. So that is effectively what this is doing. All right? It's an interesting game. Malines didn't cover it. I think it was Aleph and some of the others. I forgot to point that out. The one with on law on transtemporalization, transpersonality, transnationalism, and all of that good stuff, right? Translocality. All right, constructive trespass, which you're building the fictional corporation, you're moving people into it, right? You're like, okay, look, it's undiscovered country. We've never found it before. Well, there's nobody here, so we must own it. And you're like, it's, quote, Jewish, unquote, right? Right. So you're building a corporation, and you're moving subscribers and members into it that may or may not know that they're, right? You may or may not know. But it's the same exact thing that ZOA, PLDC, Karen Haysod, and the others did out of New York City, which was underneath the New York Corporation, the state corporation, which is underneath the United States Corporation. Okay, bingo, bango, bongo. It is not complex. It has nothing to do with freedom of speech. the establishment of a religion, that's going to be a crux of the argument on how this ain't going to pass. It's going to be, okay, United States, you are establishing a religion. Corporation. State, religion, corporation. How are you going to make that out? How are you going to make that work? Because that's definitely not legal. The only thing you can state at that point is, well, that's not what we meant. Well, hold on. You just said, and if you'll notice, they were real clear about it in the deal. Jewish isn't a religion at all. No. It's a race, and it's a nation state corporation. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. No. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. Now you're stating that they don't have nothing to do with the religion whatsoever. They're a race. And they are a state corporation. Correct? Correct. And it must therefore mean it is an estate, estate corporation. Which means real property. Realty. Okay? Real goods and services type of shit. Which is automatically connected to Israel Incorporated. Correct? Correct. Okay, well, you can't do that with the United States citizens. All right, that's not going to work. You can't go say, well, we know it was a religion, but now it's not. It's like, no, wait a minute. You can't decide on that at all. Okay? I guess you can attempt to ignore the religious aspect, but it's not going to work if somebody points it out. Okay? Okay. So, again, this is to clarify, in case anyone is not understanding it, on creating Jewish Incorporated, moving United States citizens into that, or, well, which is technically, that would be, that's illegal because, again, it's a religious thing. So you got to back up and you got to say, okay, anybody voluntarily joining, now that's legal, correct, and who identifies as a member of the corporation as, quote, Jewish, unquote, which is legal, okay? However, then you've got the problem of this private corporation is now a citizen of Israel, or they are equal partners on that. I'm not sure how they're going to attempt to define that as this theoretical thing is working out. How are you going to attempt to define that? I'll tell you what, this is interesting enough as a company colony deal that I've done 2 videos on it, okay? Back to back on one day. So you're seeing some interesting overlaps and highly theoretical experimental shit there. But these other dumb motherfuckers on YouTube will claim, nope, that's not what none of this is. Even though that's exactly what this is. I have all the books up. Just throw all their stupid shit out there. They'll tell you it's freedom of speech. It has nothing to do with that. How many times do I got to keep fucking explaining the same fucking books that tell you that? All right, so going to point that out. So most of this is legal, but there's some definite fucking gray areas, and it depends on how they're going to have to define it. I have not read what the IHCA or whatever the hell the other thing is as the quote definers, unquote. Now again, this is the Department of Education. So this has got to be a test case is what this is. None of your protests have any effect on Israel. You know that, right? Nothing that you do out here is having any effect. They can just ignore you and do what they want. But if I was Congress and I was wanting to do a bunch of different things, including national security on this issue, this is a test case that I would do. I would lay it up and then say, oh, okay, well, we're going to kill a bunch of birds with this one stone. All right, and so that's what this is. But it has nothing to do with freedom of speech at all whatsoever. Okay? Just going to throw that out. It's just fucking stupid. It doesn't impact anyone outside any of this other shit. And it doesn't even fly the moment a decent fucking lawyer walks in the room. I did it in a fucking hour and a half, right? On something that took 5 minutes to read. Right? So, at least you're in an area where you're seeing some highly theoretical shit that is slightly beyond the shit that they did with Australia, British East India, any of the European corporations. I don't know on Russia. I don't really know on the Soviet corporations and stuff. I've never sat down and read it because I can't read fucking Russian. So I never sat down and like, ooh, I want to read about all this stuff, right? No, I never got into it because I don't know what the fuck's going on there. I have no idea on the Chinese corporations, the CCP Corporation, China Incorporated. I have no idea on their corporations or how they are designed. What the wording is, what the charters are. So this is not chartering a corporation as far as I can understand it. It is simply stating that in general there is a corporation, a license. Well, it would be with the bill if it passes. It's a licensed corporation, therefore a protected legal corporation known as Jewish Incorporated. Well, always you cut the incorporated part off and you just say Jewish. Which I did say that. That's what they did in the late 1800s, early 1900s, 1920s, 1930s, 1940s. But don't worry, the Soviets are doing the same exact shit. And don't worry, the Germans were doing the same exact shit, or attempting to do the same exact shit, right? With their company colonies in Israel, right? Okay, so there you go. If there was any confusion on that, I'm trying to clear that shit up. All right? So I don't know how many times I can pound this fucking down the pipe for people to understand simple shit. It is simple shit. Or my book, or those books not up on my channel that explain all of this. So, people, you can scream about how you hate Jews. It ain't going to change the real world fact that the United States is a fucking corporation and it can kind of create general corporations. Not specific corporations unless, petitioners come before Congress? Memorials? Correct? It's been a while since I've looked at that. In memorials. And in that case, I don't know. Again, there was a bunch of arguments over that shit, which is kind of why they went with the Massachusetts Trust stuff, which is, well, we don't do it at the federal level, we do it at the state level. Then we take that state corporation that we created and we put it on the books in D.C. and Delaware, right? And now we're United States sub-franchise corporations, correct? Okay, now they don't exist outside of D.C. and Delaware, all right? Which is why everyone runs and flees to Delaware to do that. Which is why in the front of this video yet again, is the explanation of these fucking corporations and how they work, okay? So, feel free to get wrapped up in foreign operations and be a dumbass and have the FBI and them come get you. I don't give a shit. If you're that fucking dumb, you deserve it. Okay? Good for you. Be involved in those foreign operations. Good for you. I hope the best for you. But it was real plain in the bill on what the fuck it said. So, there you go. All I'm saying is, yet again, it's one of those interesting things that somebody sat down and read a fucking book somewhere at some point and said, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to change that. Or we'll do it, but slightly different. Or we'll do it just like the old way because it worked the last time. Well, that's pretty much what you're seeing here. Which is, quote, Jewish, unquote, is a corporation. Duh. They would eventually get around to that at some point because they had to say, well, Israel is a corporation. And you're going, yeah, but that's not attached to anything. It's just a fucking private corporation. It's its own thing. It don't need nothing to do with us. Right? And they're like, okay, that'll work. Well, when nobody wants to sign up for your shit, then they go, well, we need more citizens. We need some way to tie us to other corporations. Which is, if you want to bitch about globalism and super nationalism, even though you're okay with it when the guy that you back does it, you're okay with that. You're okay when China does it. You're okay when third worlders do it. You're okay when Russia does it. You're okay when Germany does it, obviously. Well, you don't get to get pissed when the United States does it. I mean, you're doing it. Right? You're trying to do it, and you're just telling me, well, nobody else is allowed to do it. So that's what's going on here. All right, so it's a supranationalism thing. This is Alex Jones loves this type of shit, right? Right, fighting for your freedom. No, he's a globalist. He absolutely loves fucking globalism. He wants supranationalism state. Of course he does. Duh. David Icke loves that shit. That's exactly what he wants. What he's telling you is you can't do it. You don't have a right to do it. Only he can do it. And I'm attempting to state, okay, let's just break this down, and I will take control of all of it, and you can go fuck yourself, and if you don't like it, we'll deport you. Okay? That's how that works. Right? That's what you wanted, right? So if you're going to run illegal foreign operations and shit, and you're a foreign asset, you got to go, bud. You got to go. You're no longer a part of the company colony. Your ass is out. Go somewhere else. Fuck you. Right? Run to Moscow if you like it so much. Go live there. Go live in China if you don't like it here, is how I say it. Anyway, so don't forget that this has nothing to do with what these people say. And I just proved it over and over and over and over and over for an hour and a fucking half, and all I'm going to ever hear from anyone is, I hate Jews. It's the fucking Jews. Wah, wah, wah. What I'm never going to hear is, oh shit, did you see the United States create a Jewish corporation? Nope, only Slappy's going to cover that. Only me, because apparently only I'm the motherfucker that reads books. Alright? Because that is not what I'm hearing on YouTube. On these other channels, that is not what the fuck I'm hearing. All I'm hearing is crying them bitch tears about, oh, it's the Jews. And it's like, wait a minute. Especially the ones I were looking at, they were definitely fucking Soviets. Definitely paid by Soviets. Or they're just fucking retards. And they can be retarded and working for the Soviets for free. That is how that works. Okay, so it's good to see the plebs get mad about dumb shit they're too stupid to understand, and I enjoy it when somebody in DC or wherever sits down and says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fuck with everybody today. And it's like, good job, man. You trolled the ever-living shit out of the whole fucking planet again. Again. Right, again. You did it again. You know, I do not have no trouble with that. That was amusing. That pissed off a lot of people on that one. So now you know exactly who you need to go target and shit, like you didn't know before somehow. Running foreign operational shit. All right, so I love that those operations, like something as simple as this bill just drags the fucking retards out, drags them out into the public, and then they go, well, they're targeting me, and it's like, you stupid motherfucker, did I not just tell you that all they said was they created a Jewish corporation? That's it. It has nothing to do with you. But now they know who to target, don't they? Now, that ain't on me. You volunteered like a fucking idiot for that. So it ain't Slappy's fault. That's what part of this is. So all I'm telling you is the same shit as I always tell you. Don't fucking go fall for it. For once, don't be a fucking idiot and go fall for it, but you're going to.